Fading is just one example of animation. And animation is something that jQuery does extremely well. So let's find out how we can animate an object to make it larger or smaller or move it around the screen. We'll bring back our good old green circle. Whoops. There it is. Great, and what we're going to do is we're going to animate this green circle and make it gradually wider and wider up to a maximum of 300 pixels. So we'll select our circle. So we'll apply this animation when the circle is clicked. So a quick challenge for you, can you remember how to select this circle without using the hash circle tag? Did you remember the this function or the this selector? There we go. Because we clicked on the circle itself, we can refer to the circle using this. Now we're going to use the jQuery animate function. And we do that simply by using .animate. Now the syntax for this function is a little bit complicated, but we'll take it very slowly. So the first attribute that we need to give to this function is to describe what changes we want to make to the circle. So to keep it simple to start with, we'll just change the width of the circle to 300 pixels. So we put our attributes inside curly brackets, like this. So curly brackets, and we want the width to be set to 300 pixels. Like that. So width and then a colon and then 300 pixels in quotes. And the other thing we need to specify is the amount of time that we want to take the animation. So let's go for 1500 milliseconds. So about a second and a half. Okay, let's see this work. There we go. Great, so we've now got a bit of animation in our apps, which is a fantastic thing to be able to do. So let's just play around with this a little bit and see what else we can do. What if we want to have more changes than just the width? Let's change the height as well. I would recommend now splitting this onto several lines, just to keep it all nice and tidy. To separate our different attributes, we use a comma. And I would recommend putting them on different lines. You don't have to, but it keeps your code nice and clean. So let's change the height to 300 pixels as well. You don't need a comma after your last attribute. Okay, let's see that in action. There we go. It's no longer a circle, of course, because we didn't change the border radius. So let's add that in. Border radius. Notice that we're not using the CSS names for these. We're not using border dash radius. We're using the JavaScript names, which are generally exactly the same, but they don't have the dashes in, and the second, third, and fourth words are all capitalized. So we'll change the border radius to 150 pixels to keep our circle circular. See that work? There it is. Fantastic. As a last option, let's move it around a little bit as well. So we can do that by changing the left margin if we want to move it right. So margin left, let's change that to 100 pixels. Mustn't forget to have a comma at the end of the previous line. So now we're moving it as well as enlarging it. And let's do a margin top as well. And let's speed up the animation a touch. Nice. So you can imagine using this on or I hope you can imagine using this on a website where you've got a lot of small icons, and then when you click on one of the icons, it grows larger to help you see what you've clicked on. So it allows you to increase the usability of your site as well as bringing in some nice fancy animations.